The USSE and Vulperium. The southern continent of Sarona has always been extremely diverse. If you've seen my video on the religion of Cubism and their prophecy to resurrect God himself, that takes place on the northern tip up here. But nowadays, the whole continent is shared by just two cultural and political juggernauts of world politics: the United Socialist States of Eldom and the Vulperium. The USSE has had a troubled past of losing wars, but due to what they've dubbed the Curse of Laria, they've outlasted their biggest wartime competitors, even through the desolation brought by the early Kunir War. They then adopted their first General Secretary's ideology of Sharewist socialism, and through leaders like the thrice-elected Chelevek Cerebra, a golden age slowly dawned that saw them grow massively in influence and population.
So, between you and me, Chelevek kind of rigged some of those elections.
Then later, there was a great war with the nation of the Zamotes Union, as the USSE's vassal of Merconis claimed ownership of a small territory here for sand mining. As tends to happen in Eldom, the USSE built up a coalition of allied states, but they lost to the PvP-experienced players in Zamotes, and then they sold Merconis to the Iraqi Imperium. Merconis would end up fighting 2 more wars over sand, but thankfully the USSE was not involved. The USSE briefly became a vassal of Iraq and is going strong today as the longest-lasting democracy in all of Eldom. Now, directly to the west lies the Vulperium, which grew out of the union of the anthropomorphic fox nation of Vulpinia and the nation of Nodos. The Vulperium has greatly expanded throughout its history, with one addition seeing the admin Moi betting a Vulperian player that if she could wear a banner on her head for 3 days without dying or losing it, they could annex his nation of Cheese Guild. That's fun and that's wholesome. But nowadays, Vulperium is kind of in the middle of a mini world war. As best as I can summarize, the Vulperium supposedly had a track record of international incidents, conflicting border disputes, betraying one of their allies, fomenting conspiracies in other nations, some bitter proxy wars in the past, and opportunistically grabbing land around them. But this is just what's claimed by their enemies in the USSE, the Velaran Empire, Skilding, and Sylvania. These 4 nations formed the Eldom Alliance, and after the Vulperium denied paying a $15 million indemnity, they declared war. But maybe this alliance just wants to expand their own power? Who's to say? The war currently stands at a tie, the Eldom Alliance winning the first Battle of Manzig, and the Vulperium winning the second and repelling them out. Neither side has completed their objectives, and the conflict remains ongoing with no end in sight. However, I must confess, I am no impartial judge of this conflict, for I, Stony Stoner of the House of Globular Newts, am indeed a furry. I will be helping the Vulperium in their next battle. Many of you know that I support and promote racism in the roleplay lore of Rathnir and Eldom, and everyone knows that the Vulps are superior over all. If you are interested in the next region of Anglunia and how one of their rebelling players single-handedly invented cringe, go ahead and click that card to the right of you.